Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 2nd, 2025, and it's official. Barcelona are in the final of the Copa del Rey, where we're going to have another El Clásico match, the third El Clásico match so far this season. This is the post match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end, then where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section. As you can see, I'm still out of the country. I'm not home. I'm not in my YouTube studio. But today I decided to do a live from my hotel room. I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the match. Yeah, the time difference between Japan and New York is insane. But nonetheless, it was worth it. It was worth it because I got to see Barcelona qualify to the final of the Copa del Rey, the first time that we're playing a final in the Copa del Rey since 2021. Yes, 2021 was the last time that Barcelona played a Copa del Rey final, or was it 2020? I think it was 2020. It was under Koeman when we won that Copa del Rey. I think it was either 2020, 20 or 21. I can't remember exactly, but it's been 4 years. So yeah, 2021. 2021 was the last time we played a final. It's been 4 years since we've been in the final, and now we're back in the Copa del Rey final, where we're gonna have another Clásico match. We already had a Clásico match in La Liga. We already had one in the Spanish Super Cup. Now in the Copa del Rey final, and of course, there's gonna be the fourth one, which will be the second match in La Liga in May. So definitely exciting time to be alive because we're seeing several Clásico matches, and I have to say, I'm honestly not worried. I am not worried about this final. Would have been better to get Real Sociedad, sure, but is Real Madrid something that worries me that I'm like, oh no, we got Madrid, is gonna be, we might lose. We still could, don't get me wrong. I think Barcelona is a much, much better team than Real Madrid, but in football, even the better team can lose to the smaller team. And in this case, again, I'm not worried about Madrid, and I think we have a really good shot at winning this trophy. Now, let's talk about the actual match between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, because today we saw two different matches. We saw an excellent, superb first half by Barcelona, in a second half that wasn't as good. Now, during the first half, I think Barcelona were a million times better than Atletico Madrid. They were superior in every facet of the game: ball control, possession, circulation, passing, defending, recovering the ball after loss. Barcelona were superior in every facet of the game. They completely dominated Atletico Madrid. They completely nullified Atletico de Madrid. And I haven't seen such excellent ball circulation in a while. I think since the first half of the season, I think the way Barcelona were circulating the ball were absolutely top notch. They were moving the ball so fast. They were passing the ball so fast. They were circulating the ball so fast. And they just looked very, very dangerous. And as a result, we saw Atletico Madrid towards the end of the first half, right before the halftime, completely defeated because they were pretty much chasing ghosts. They just could not get a hold of the ball. I think the first chance that Atletico Madrid got was at the 38th minute or something like that. But Barcelona were much, much superior to Atletico Madrid. They completely dominated every facet of the game. And as a result, we got the goal of Ferran Torres with a beautiful pass by Lamine Yamal, who today just put on a show, the Lamine Yamal show, where he did whatever the hell he wanted. He was dribbling players left and right. He was making very dangerous passes, and he was even taking shots at the goal. Total show by Lamine Yamal. Total show by Pedri as well during the first half. But Barcelona were completely, completely superior to Atletico Madrid. And honestly, if Barcelona play every match the way they played this first half, there is no team in Europe that can beat Barcelona. I 100% believe that, because Barcelona in the first half were absolutely superb. Now, during the second half, completely different ball game. Cholo Simeone made some substitutions. Atletico Madrid started attacking and started putting pressure on Barcelona, and Barcelona kind of had to, retract a little bit to defend. And then came the substitutions by Flick, which for the first time this season, I have to say, he kind of did make a mistake. Taking out Fermin Lopez, who was having a good match, That was a little mistake. Bringing in Araujo for Cuarsi, which we don't know. To be fair to Flick, it could be because Cuarsi maybe was feeling some discomfort or wasn't 100% fit. But bringing Araujo for Cuarsi and then advancing Frankie de Jong a little bit more by putting Eric Garcia in a double pivot, I think those were made Barcelona less stable and more vulnerable. So I think for the first time, Flick's substitutions were not the correct ones. And Barcelona kind of lost the control of the match, and it became a chaotic match with a lot of back and forth, back and forth. But thankfully, Barcelona were able to hold off. They were able to defend well, and Atletico Madrid were not able to do any damage. They did score that goal by Sorloth, which was absolutely, which he was offside. And I have to say, when Inigo Martinez is on the field, you can bet your butt that there's going to be at least one goal that's going to be canceled out due to offside. So second half, not as good, but nonetheless, Barcelona came on top. First half, absolutely superb. Again, if Barcelona play every match the way they played the first half, I think there's no team in Europe that can beat them. Now, let's talk about the referee a little bit, because today the referee did not make it any better for Barcelona. As you know, the referee was Manuel Montero, the guy who showed a red card to Jude Bellingham. As a result, he got suspended. His businesses got investigated. He received death threats. And I think the guy still has some PTSD from what happened there, because today I saw 3 clear reds. First, there was the Azpilicueta foul on Rafinha, which the ref goes to the VAR and see it and decides it's not a foul. It's not a red card. How? I don't know. Studs up, hits him above the ankle. I think that's a clear red to me. There was the foul on Lamine Yamal. Also, clear red to me. I mean, Lamine Yamal was left bleeding. You could see the blood through his sock. And then finally, the foul on Eric Garcia. Same thing. Studs up, hits him above the ankle. I saw 3 clear reds today, and the referee did not award any of them. And not only that, this is what I'm talking about in La Liga, where the referees have no criteria, where the same exact foul can have 20 different outcomes, because if the foul committed by Azpilicueta on Rafinha merited a VAR check, then the ref should have also went to the VAR for the foul committed on Lamine and for the foul committed on Eric Garcia, because they were all exactly the same. But yet he only went to the VAR once, but didn't go to the VAR in the other ones. And again, to me, all 3 were red cards. Today, the referee was horrendous. Again, I think he still has PTSD from what happened to him when he showed the red card to Jude Bellingham. And not to mention that he was also allowing Atletico Madrid to be disrupted, to constantly diving, constantly pretending that Barcelona were just as aggressive as them. And that was not the case. The ones who were very aggressive were Atletico Madrid players. They were the ones who committed very aggressive, strong fouls. Barcelona were not, but yeah, Atletico Madrid, every time they got touched, boom, dive, cry, pretend your leg is broken, just to give like this impression that Barcelona players were being just as aggressive, which was not the case. And there, Montero should have put a stop to that, because we talk about players always committing fouls or perhaps not acting the way sportsmanlike conduct, but we should also talk about when they try to fool the ref, right? Because we talk about refereeing mistakes, but when a player tries to dive or when a player pretends that he got fouled, he's deceiving the referee. He is trying to pressure the referee into making the wrong decision. So just like we complain about referees making the wrong decisions, we should also be complaining about players trying to pressure the referee into making the wrong decision, because when you're diving, when you're pretending that you're hurt and you're not, you are deceiving the referee. You are lying to the referee. So just like we complain about the refs, we should be complaining about the players. And today, Munuera let it happen. And I think today's refereeing was bad. But again, refereeing is no excuse, just like Flick said. And today is another example of that, because Barcelona were still able to get the victory. Now, let's look at the lineup, because there was a different lineup that was not expected today. It was kind of a different lineup than what was expected. But we had Szczesny in the goal, Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez as our 2 center backs, Jules Koundé and Balde, of course, as our fullbacks, Frankie and Pedri in a double pivot, Fermin Lopez, that was to me the surprise, in the place of Gabi. I thought Gabi would start in the place, replacing the injured Dani Olmo, but it looks like Flick opted for Fermin Lopez. He probably wanted what Gabi gives you, because Fermin gives you kind of like what Gabi gives you, but a little bit more advanced, right? Because Gabi gives you that intensity, but he's more of a little bit more of a defensive profile than Fermin Lopez is, where Fermin is a little bit more offensive. So I think that's what Flick opted for Fermin Lopez. Of course, Lamine Yamal on the right. Rafinha on the left, and then Ferran Torres in the place of Lewandowski. That was another surprise to me. I think Flick probably opted for Ferran Torres because he wanted someone who's a little bit more mobile than Lewandowski. Lewandowski is more of a box predator, someone who stays in the box and can score in the box, but Ferran is more mobile. So I think Flick chose Ferran because he wanted someone that can move around more in those tight spaces that Atletico Madrid usually give you, because there's not a lot of space that Atletico Madrid give you given how they defend. And I think it paid off. I think that substitution definitely paid off because Ferran Torres, of course, scored the only goal of the match, the winning goal of the match, which gave us the classification or the qualification to the final. However, I have to say this: as happy as I am with Ferran Torres and all the goals he has been scoring, including today's goal, I think it's clear that Ferran Torres is more of a player that comes off the bench because the first 30 minutes of the match where he scored the goal, or the first 40 minutes of the match, he was excellent. He was involved in all the plays. He was moving the lot. He was creating chances. He was really good on and off the ball. But then after that, he kind of got diluted and disappeared, right? So I think Ferran Torres, as great as he has been this season, I think he's definitely a player that's better coming off the bench, because I think he can only give you a good 30, maybe 40 minute stops. He's not a player that can give you full 90 minutes. And it pains me to say that because Ferran has been absolutely amazing this season. But again, it's clear that he's definitely a player that can come off the bench, not a player that can start. Other players I want to talk about. Lamine Yamal, of course, already mentioned it. It was the Lamine Yamal show today. He did whatever the hell he wanted until that foul. Unfortunately, that foul completely took him out of the game. And I think that was the intention of Atletico Madrid to do that. And this is why I say refereeing was bad, because you shouldn't allow the other team to take out players the way that they did with Lamine Yamal. Rafinha. I think Rafinha today was not a good match for him at all. Today, Rafinha went back from being Coutinho to Rafinha. Really bad match, inaccurate passes, really bad decision-making. There was a clear play where he kind of jukes the goalkeeper, and then Fermin Lopez is coming in all by himself. That could have been Barcelona's second goal, but he decides to shoot it instead. Not a good game by Rafinha, but during the first half, it didn't matter because Lamine Yamal had thrown the attack on his shoulders and was doing his magic, so it didn't really matter. But once Lamine Yamal was taken out by the foul, now you had Lamine Yamal who's injured or hurt, I should say, Rafinha who's not really doing much, and then all of a sudden Barcelona's attack fell through. Pedri, excellent match by Pedri, another masterclass by Pedri. I think I'm getting tired of saying the same thing over and over again, because every play that Barcelona had, every chance that Barcelona created, if you look at the replay, Pedri is there. Whether Pedri is starting it, whether Pedri is the second guy in the play, Pedri is always in every single play. And today, another masterclass by him. Good performance by Frankie de Jong, and then good performance by Inigo Martinez as well. And even Koundé. I think Koundé was really good today in the attack. He almost scored a beautiful goal with that pass from Lamine Yamal. But overall, again, great first half by Barcelona. Not a good second half by Barcelona. But today, Barcelona showed that they are in it to win it, that they want to aspire to all trophies. And we very much could, because we are first in La Liga. We're in the final of the Copa del Rey. We're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So definitely good season so far, I think, by Barcelona, because who would have imagined that during the first season under Flick would be in April and will be alive in all competition, and like truly alive in all competitions, not like Xavi used to tell us back last season when it was like January or December, and he was like, oh, we're alive in all competitions. Well, of course we're alive in all competitions. Some of them hadn't even started. The Copa del Rey hadn't started. The Spanish Super Cup hadn't even started. But no, we're truly alive in all competitions in April, and I think I would have never imagined this, especially during the first season of Hansi Flick. Anyways, that is all I have to say about the match. Let's do the comment section, and then we will end this because I have a long day ahead of me of sightseeing. Let's see. Koleka says, hi, Mo. Glad to finally be on the live again. Visca Barça, Mo. The team looks tired a lot. I think they still got enough energy until the final end of the season, especially Pedri, Koundé, and Pedri. I don't think I noticed. I saw them tired. I think the first half, the team was full of intensity. The second half, that was diluted because it became a very interrupted match where it was constant foul. A lot of diving, and it was just became a very disruptive match. So I don't think necessarily I saw him tired. If anything, I think Flick and his staff have done a great job keeping the players healthy, because let's not forget it's April, and the only guy who's injured is Dani Olmo. Christensen is about to come back. Ter Stegen is about to come back. Obviously, Bernal is out for the whole season, but it's just Dani Olmo. And usually around this time, most teams start suffering a lot of injuries because by now, players have played a lot of matches for their team and for their nation. Also, this is the last stretch of the season where a lot of matches start accumulating. You're playing a match every 2-3 days. So usually around this time, teams have, 5, 6, 7 players are injured. We only have Dani Olmo, and that's because that guy gets injured every Sunday, right? So I don't think that's the case. I think Flick and his staff have done a wonderful job in keeping the players healthy and rotating the players and, distributing the minutes around in a way where the players are not fatigued. Sai Supri says, "Hey Mo, hope you're having a good time in Japan. You can tell that after Lewandowski came in, he was dragging 2 defenders with him. Fermin has been performing. Gerard Martin has been improving." Yeah, that's another thing. Like, people are always like talking crap about Lewandowski, even though he's literally the highest scorer on the team. He has scored a third of all of Barcelona's goals. He is the top scorer in La Liga. Another thing is, but that people don't notice, is the things that Lewandowski does without the ball. Because yes, he does that. He drags defenders, which opens up the space for other players to make those runs, whether it be from the second line or whether it be our Lamine or Rafinha. Another thing he really does well is holding the ball. Holding the ball to allow his teammates to catch up to the attack. He does that really well. Even trying to hold the ball when the other team is transitioning into a counter attack. He does that really well. So Lewandowski does a lot of good things without the ball that people simply don't notice, because it's easy to notice a goal. It's not as easy to notice what a player does without the ball, right? And that's why people are always like, "Oh, Lewandowski sucks, Lewandowski sucks." Imagine a guy who's on his way to score 40, 50 goals being called he sucks. I mean, again, we talk about Real Madrid, we talk about La Liga, everybody being against us, but shit. When you have fans like that, who needs enemies, right? Isa says, "Hi, Bo. When was the last time Barcelona defeated Real Madrid in a Copa del Rey final?" That's a good question, because the last time they met was in 2014, where Real Madrid won. And it was that goal by Bale, that last-minute goal. I was actually watching it at work live. I remember where Bale just takes off and scores. That's the last final I remember. That was 11 years ago. But when's the last time Barcelona beat Madrid? I'll have to get back to you at that. Ralph says, "I've always criticized Koundé's abilities on the ball, but lately he's been playing the best crispy passes and tippy link plays. Big man is out there dribbling like prime Alves." Yeah, no, Koundé has improved so much, and to think that Koundé was initially didn't want to play as a right back, right? Because he's always been a center back, and when he started being played on the right back, he was like, I don't like this, I don't want this, blah, blah, blah. And then now look at him. He is one of the best right backs, if not the best right back in Europe. And that's because he has been working on his offensive game. I reported about this last season where there were reports of Koundé staying after trainings, like after everybody left, just to work on his attacking skills, because of course he didn't have those. He was always a center back, so he was never taught how to attack. He always knew how to defend. And he's been working on it. And he's been, working on his craft, honing his skills, and it's paying off, because Koundé, again, to me, the best right back in Europe. And John says, "Mo, would you have preferred Barca conceding a goal? I love the substitution because it helped us defend better and keep a clean sheet." Huh? I don't understand your question. Would I prefer Barca to concede a goal? No. Why would I prefer Barca to concede a goal? Are you talking because what I said about substitutions? I mean, the substitutions that Flick did is what almost allowed Barcelona to concede a goal. It's actually what caused Barcelona to concede a goal, which was Sorlot's goal. But fortunately, he was offside. So, no, the substitutions did not help us defend better. The substitutions made us worse, because Barcelona defend the best when they have possession of the ball. When Barcelona switched defense, that's when Barcelona struggled. Today is a perfect example. And this is why when people are like, "Oh, Flick is so aggressive with his attacking, he should, every now and then park the bus." I'm like, no, that is the dumbest thing ever, because that's not something that we know how to do, because we are not a defensive team. We're not a team that parks the bus. And therefore, when we do park the bus, we always suffer, because it's something that we don't know how to do. We know how to attack. We know how to maintain possession of the ball. That's what we know how to do. So why would you switch to something that you don't know how to do? That's, of course, going to cost you. And today it cost us. It cost us a goal. Sorloth scored on us. Thankfully, it was outside, but the best way that Barcelona can defend is by maintaining possession of the ball and by continuously attacking. That's always been the case, because that's what we know how to do. That's what these players learn since they are 5 years old in the academy. And now you might say, well, maybe we should train and learn how to defend more or park the bus. Absolutely not. Because if you want to be the best team in the world, you have to focus on one thing and you have to keep working on that thing and hone it and hone it and hone it and perfect it. You don't start trying to do different things because that's how you become a jack of all trades and a master of none. If you want to be the best team in the world, you have to be a master of your craft. And for that, you have to focus on one thing. For us, it's attacking. That's what we know how to do. That's why we have to continue practicing. That's what we have to continue improving and perfecting. Not start doing things that we don't know how to do, because that's how you suffer. Veronica says, those tackles on our players, it was our players committing those tackles on athletic players, we would have seen red. 100% agree with you. And Manta Manti says, even Senior Simeone dived on the sideline. What was up with Simeone today, by the way? Did he forget to pick up his suits from the dry cleaner? He was wearing a tracksuit. He's usually wearing his black suits. Riley says, don't understand why Lenglet didn't receive a yellow card for that foul on the amount who really got injured. He was even bleeding. I think Lenglet should have received a red, not even a yellow. And Bisca Michael says, hi, Mo. Is anyone else tired of seeing this Clasico? I know we just came from losing nonstop against them last season, but still easiest final ever. I'm not. I want Barcelona to... Look, the first Clasico, it was 0-4. And I think it could have been more because we wasted a few chances, clear chances here and there. Second Clasico, we scored 5 goals, and that could have been more. But unfortunately, Szczesny gets the red card, and then we play with 10 men. And without that red card, that game could have been 7, 8 goals, right? So I think this is our chance. This is our chance to go out there and score all the goals that we were supposed to score in the first and the second Clasico. So I'm ready. I want a 5, 6, 7-0, you know? Now I know that's obviously, a lot to ask for. It's the final. It's still Real Madrid. No matter how terrible they are, it's still going to be a challenge. But I don't know. Veronica says, our fullbacks need rest. I'm telling you more, especially Kunde. We need to solve this dilemma by summer transfer window. Balde has rested. Balde, didn't do the whole FIFA international break. So he was off for 10 days or 12 days, however long the FIFA international break is. He also rested against, was it Girona that he didn't play? Yeah, because I think he played against Osasuna, then rested against Girona. So Balde is rested. Kunde, I mean, that guy's a machine. Like I mentioned in the previous video, Kunde hasn't rested since, November 2023. I mean, this guy's been playing for a year and a half, nonstop, for country and club. He has now played 91 consecutive matches, or 92, 91. I think it's 91 consecutive matches. So it looks like he's one of those guys who just needs to keep playing, because there are players who are like that, who need to keep playing. And if they stop, that's actually when they get injured, when they get stopped. And he looks like he's one of those few blessed players that he can just keep going and going and going, because the guy shows no signs of fatigue. Rafinha is the same way, right? I mean, Rafinha did rest against Osasuna and Girona, but Rafinha is another guy who just can sprint the whole match, 90 minutes, and just be completely fine, right? Everybody's body's different, but it's crazy. Let's see. Bisca Michael says, Mo, would you shut Madrid? What would shut Madridistas up more, winning a treble against them or beating them in the UCL final? I think winning a treble against them. I think if we face Madrid in the final of the Copa del Rey, we win it. Then if the La Liga race continues being this close up until the end, and Barcelona beat Madrid again in La Liga, and that's what gives Barcelona the title. And then if we see them and watch them in the UCL final, get them in the UCL final, and then win there, I mean, that would be historic. I mean, not only is a treble historic, but to be able to win a treble against Madrid in all finals. Well, La Liga is not final, but you know what I mean? That would be historic. I mean, that would be not only historic in La Liga, but I don't think there's ever been a team that has done that, period, in the history of football, to win a treble against your arch enemy or arch rival. I mean, that's crazy. Anyways, that is it, guys. That is it. I got to end it. It's already 8 a.m. over here. I have to get dressed. I got to hit the streets. I'm currently in Osaka. I'm no longer in Tokyo. I'm currently in Osaka. And today I'm taking a train to Kyoto. So I'm very, very excited. I will be doing videos later tonight when I get back into my hotel room. So stay tuned to the channel. Again, great win. Congratulations to all of us. We're into the final. Hopefully, we'll be talking about winning this trophy at the end of April. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Just call